Hey everybody, and welcome to Don't Copy That Floppy. I'm your host Lex.
And I'm your other host Dan. And you're listening to Don't Copy That Floppy.
Dan, why?
I messed it up.
It's it is June 17th.
That's the one. We're at the end of E3 week. So this is our special E3 extravaganza show. Haven't used that in a while.
Gotta always use the air horn. The air horn's the best part.
But we broadcast our show every Friday from 7 to 8 p.m. live on Chip Bay Radio. You can check us out there, or you can check us out on Facebook, Twitter, iTunes, Steam, and YouTube. We have show archives on the chipbit.net website, as well as Steam and as well as YouTube and iTunes, where you can also leave a review. And we have a Patreon now.
We have a Patreon now!
Yeah, we already have a couple people giving us money even.
3, not even a couple. We have 3.
Thank you, 3 people.
We really appreciate it.
Yeah, it's great. Thank you so much.
You know, part of that thing is we do member shout-outs.
Yes.
So I'm going to do a member shout-out to Ben Lord. Hopefully I'm not getting your name wrong,
Is there any other part to that, or we just say, hey, Ben Lord?
I think the only thing that we guaranteed was we would just say, hey, to that and thank them.
Guy.
We appreciate your donation.
Yes.
It's you're helping us work our way towards bigger and better things.
Yes.
Which we're super excited about.
We're supposed to be chatting during the show right now, aren't we?
We are. You better pull up that. Dude, Tippit.net, new website.
Yes.
You should check it out, especially if you're one of the people who's listening to this through iTunes or on YouTube or something, so you don't frequent the site. Check out the new site. Oh, it looks so good.
It looks great. It's very clean, very sharp.
Yeah, and the new chat feature is fantastic. You can log in with Twitter, which actually you should do.
Log in with our account Twitter here.
Yes.
Our email.
DCTFpodcast@gmail. If anybody wants to send us an email.
Yeah, that's no secret.
I'm not going to tell you what the password is because we're on air. Starts with a G, though. I'll give you a hint. Do you need me to write it down?
I think I remember it. I don't remember the last part because I only had to put it in once.
Actually, you know what? Why don't I just type it in?
Yeah, just type it in so we can get into this chat and get our E3 extravaganza going. Cool.
Did I mistype it?
It's dctfpodcast@gmail.com, right?
Yeah, maybe I typed the password wrong.
Maybe you typed the password
Oh, no,
wrong.
maybe the site doesn't work as well as I thought it did.
Remember me. What?
Hold on, I'm going to try something.
So, we will be talking this week about we're going to split E3 into 2 shows, is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah. So last year what we did was we
talked about games, and then we talked about more industry stuff.
Now this year, I don't know how many of you guys got a chance to catch some of the E3 conferences. Some of them were certainly more riveting than others.
Yes.
But there was not a lot of industry stuff. Like, there was some, but it was mostly just talking about games. It wasn't even necessarily game announcements.
No.
So much as it was
gameplay of things we already knew about.
Yeah.
Or announcing more features to it, or kind of clarifying release dates, things like that.
So instead of splitting it like we did last year, we're going to split it by the conferences this year. So this week we're going to do EA, Microsoft, and Bethesda. And next week you're going to hear about Sony... Ubisoft and Nintendo.
And the PC conference as
well.
And
the PC conference, yeah.
But Nintendo's kind of a short addendum to everything else.
Yeah,
we'll be talking about it.
There wasn't much talked about with them.
There's one big thing to talk about, and there's a lot to talk about that. But other than that, there's not much.
Yeah.
So let's get started. We're going to jump right into the EA coverage here, which is, it was kind of what we expected. It's a lot of AAA shooting games and a lot of sports games.
So EA, when did that conference happen? That happened on Sunday,
It was one of the Sunday ones, yeah. This in Bethesda. It's like the middle of the day on Sunday. Sunday the 12th, that is. So you want to just go down the list and kind of talk about what was show?
Yeah, we're going via a GameSpot overview. I think we're going to go with GameSpot overviews for most of these.
Because they just did a nice bullet point
of everything.
Lists of everything,
and I'm pretty sure they did it in order of how it appeared in the conference, I think. So it's just the same as going through the conference. But yeah, so the first thing that happened with EA was Titanfall 2.
Titanfall 2.
Get excited.
Got really excited for those Titans.
So...
saying Titans made me think of a thing, but you go first.
So I do not believe they showed any gameplay. They just showed cinematic trailers, like in-game engine cinematic trailers. As I recall,
I think it was gameplay, like in-game engine.
Yeah,
like some first-person stuff. That may have been like gameplay, but yeah, I'm not sure if we were actually. I don't think we were actually seeing like a game being played necessarily, but we were. I don't think we were necessarily seeing anything that was like BS'd either.
No, I don't think so.
Like it was just kind of put together little scenarios that they were showing.
There was a couple things about this. Well, the first thing when I was watching it that struck me was that the mechs now talk. Could they talk before?
I don't know.
I don't think they could.
I didn't play Titanfall.
I think they were just mechs.
Yeah.
But now they have
Titans,
like.
Please?
I'm sorry. Nah, I don't respect Titanfall enough to call them
They're just
Titans.
so much more than mechs, you know?
Well, now, I mean, they kind of are.
No, they're just more mechy. They talk like mechs do, and now they have swords like mechs do.
I forgot they had swords now.
Yeah.
But yeah.
A Titan with a sword. Bro. I'm sorry, there were these two dudes doing a pre-show for EA that was on, like, before the thing started, and they were, like, the most obnoxious human beings on Earth. And I wanted to bring it up just because... they said everything that was gonna be at the EA press conference before the press conference, which was odd to me. Because the point is kind of to surprise people, I thought.
Yeah.
But no, they went down like a list. It's like, we're going to show you Titanfall 2, we're going to show you Battlefield 1, we're going to show you Mass Effect Andromeda. Like, they just said, this is what we're showing you. And then they did it. And it kind of made their whole press conference feel a little flaccid. Because they're just like, alright.
Yeah, because we already knew.
We already knew everything was going to happen.
I mean, I think that a lot of the press conferences this year felt that way to me because... not because I knew it was going to happen.
There wasn't much as far as, like, shocking new things.
Yeah, it was really only Sony's, which, again, we're not getting to today, but the... It was a lot of, like, we knew Titanfall 2 was going to happen.
Like, yeah, even new games, they're just continuations of existing IPs for the most part.
So yeah, Titanfall 2, the Titans talk and have personalities, and supposedly that's going to offer depth to gameplay, but it won't because it's done.
They're adding a single-player campaign.
But they're adding a single-player campaign.
It's going to be related to that kind of stuff.
Yeah, and that's the dumb thing, because when Titanfall...
that's the dumb thing.
Because when Titanfall came out, they didn't have a single-player campaign for the first Titanfall.
They had a pseudo-single-player campaign online.
Yeah. And all of the fans were like, hey, why no single-player? And EA did this whole, thing where they talked about how, no, seriously, we crunched the numbers.
Yeah.
And according to those numbers, people don't play single-player, so it's not going to affect our sales to not have it. And I don't think it really did affect their sales. I don't think they were wrong.
Well.
It's the problem with Titanfall was that it was an online game, but it wasn't that replayable. People weren't that interested in replaying it.
It ceased to be memorable.
Yeah, so it's funny that for the sequel, their remedy for the fact that it's not memorable is to put single player in it, which was not really the problem. It was just the thing the fans were upset about.
It just kind of petered out. Yeah.
But it wasn't actually the thing that doomed the game.
I can say the people who are upset about the lack of story are probably a vocal minority.
Yeah.
As well. People who are really upset about it. I don't know. Because plenty of if you're building your game to be a multiplayer-centric game, I don't think a single-player campaign is necessary.
No.
Look at Overwatch. It doesn't have a single-player campaign.
That's fine.
And everybody likes it.
Oh, that reminds me, there's something I had to talk... Oh, we're not getting to the PC
totally,
game show.
Could have a single-player campaign, too.
Cliffy B had such a good quote about Overwatch from the PC game show. I can't wait to talk about that.
Yeah,
I cannot forget.
We'll
next
write
time.
it down after this.
Yeah.
I can remember to talk about it. So anyway, yeah, Titanfall 2. I mean, they showed off a bunch of new abilities you're going to have, and new weapons for the things, and new types of mechs and things like that, but it was what we expected.
Yeah.
They looked pretty. Looked fun. Battlefield 1 had a little gameplay trailer that was cool. Showed off a lot of the vehicles, like the old World War I tanks and biplanes, and They confirmed that you will be able to pilot a Zeppelin.
Yeah, they did.
As well as other giant vehicles. Like, there's going to be big armored battleships and stuff, too. Which is pretty neat.
Oh, and trains? Didn't they say something about trains?
Yes, totally. And they showed, like, a Zeppelin being shot down by a bunch of biplanes and crashing into a town, and the town just gets destroyed. So they really upped the ante on the destructible environments that they've always been doing in Battlefield in this one, it looks like. Because we have all the new technology that allows them to do crazier and crazier stuff as far as destructible environments go. So, in the context of a World War I game, that looks like a lot of fun.
Yeah.
I think it looks good. I think it looks like a Battlefield game, and it looks like it's good, but I'm not going to buy it.
Yeah, no, it looks nice. I would have liked to see a little more of it. Did we get a release date on it? I don't think we did.
No, I'm pretty sure we did, actually. I think they said it's coming out in, like, October or November.
Oh, that's pretty quick.
Yeah. I could be completely wrong.
Yeah, October 21st.
October 21st, 2016. So yeah, it is on the way out. Titanfall 2 may have gotten a date as well.
Yeah, but we don't care.
We don't care, but I'm going to look it up anyway.
We spent more than enough time on Titanfall 2.
What did they talk about after that? Titanfall 2 is December 2016, which means it'll probably get delayed.
Take your time, Titanfall. We don't care.
I was kind of excited when they said they were going to be showing Mass Effect Andromeda. So I was like, are we finally going to get to know what Mass Effect Andromeda is about and was like? And the answer to that question is, kinda.
You go to another galaxy.
You go to the Andromeda.
Yeah, I guess.
Galaxy.
Sure.
I'm assuming. That is another galaxy near ours.
Yeah.
So you leave the Milky Way, where all of Mass Effect takes place, to find out what's out there. And you find what's out there. That's basically all we know.
They talk about how there's going to be all these new alien races and
then they
stuff like
proceeded
that.
to show a bunch of alien races we've already seen before.
Yeah. That was hilarious during that conference when they were literally saying, like all these new alien races.
And then you're an Asari character.
Yeah, you see the screenshot of the Asari character. I'm
just
like,
oh no, here I am. And like a silhouette of a Krogan somewhere.
Yeah.
These aren't new. Show us a new one. They did with that. You told me earlier in the week that you were annoyed too because they pulled with this what they pulled with Star Wars Battlefront last year, or the year before that, maybe, where they showed like a developer diary thing.
I forgot about this.
Yeah, where they didn't even really show you the game. They were just like, "We're hard at work making this game for you."
So this is something that. And correct me if I'm wrong.
You hated that with Star Wars. Like,
I don't.
Really bad.
Before Star Wars, I don't think anyone had done this before because it's so insulting.
Last year there was one too that wasn't Star Wars or this. There was another one for some weird extreme sports shooter game kind of thing.
I mean, that's not really a game.
I'm just saying, but like they did do it again
okay.
last year. So I think it did kind of start with that Star Wars one.
Yeah. So, but
in 2014.
Yeah. So in 2014, for those who don't recall, when they were making Star Wars Battlefront, basically the year before that, they had said, "Hey, we're going to make Star Wars Battlefront." But that's all they had said.
They showed that tiny teaser.
Yeah. So then, the year before Star Wars Battlefront came out, instead of showing us... Or no, because there was another E3 before Star Wars Battlefront actually came out. So 2 years ago, instead of showing a cutscene or telling us anything about if it was going to have a story, which it didn't, but... or showing us any gameplay, they showed a developer diary, which is just a mini documentary.
Yeah,
being
very mini.
Yeah, where it's like guys in a studio being like, "Look at this work we're doing.
I'm modeling an ATST.
Oh, concept art. Oh, everyone's hard at work. Yeah, this is going to be a great game because we're putting so much, elbow grease into it." And when that happened, I was so annoyed.
Yeah,
because. Like, dude, I don't care. Just show me the game.
Show me the video game. Show me the money.
Yeah. So yeah, I loved that for this game, for Andromeda, they then repeated it, did the same freaking thing.
Yep. Terrific. Speaking of Star Wars, they also talked about Star Wars. It didn't really show us anything new.
Nope. Jade Raymond came out on stage to not announce her game.
Yes.
That was the funniest thing to me, because Jade Raymond, who is in part of the industry, it was tapped a while ago to work on a Star Wars game, and it's been rumored she's working on that, what was it called? 13...
The 1313?
1313.
Whatever it's turning into.
Yeah. Which is going to be some sort of, like, nitty-gritty, like, Coruscant...
It's a Boba Fett game.
Yeah, Boba Fett game. It's probably what it's going to turn into.
That's what pretty much everybody was pretty sure was going to happen.
Yeah.
It was going to be.
And she was tapped to work on that. And so she came out on stage, and I'm like, yeah, they're going to talk about that game. It's going to be so good.
And she was just like, here at EA, we have lots of Star Wars games coming.
And then they showed a clip show of trailer pieces from all sorts of different games, and one of them looked like 1313.
Yes.
But they didn't actually say anything about it.
And they showed a bunch of stuff from, like, the Battlefront DLCs that have come out and are coming out.
Did they show, like, Lego Star Wars, too? I think they did.
I think a little bit.
And Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes, because everybody cares about that.
So, basically,
also
and they
the MMO.
just confirmed, like, a ton of our people are working on Star Wars games.
Which we knew, yeah.
Some of which are unannounced.
We know you've got a bunch of people working on Star Wars games. That's not
Why
like...
would you not?
That's not like a worthwhile section of your press conference.
So that was an unfortunate moment.
They did a little bit of developer diary stuff in that, too, as I recall.
A tiny bit.
Because they had... Oh, God, what's her name? A woman who's helming a Star Wars project who's not Jade Raymond, but I think she might be working with her. I can't remember her name, but she was interviewed very briefly within that clip show.
Was it the lady who left Naughty Dog? Like Amy Hennig or whatever?
Yep, Amy Hennig. That's her name. So she was in it very briefly, talking about how she's like, "Oh, I'm making this game. It's going to be so good." And there was like this concept artist with her, and he's like,
she's
"Oh,
like a writer."
Yeah,
for it.
He was like, "Oh, working with her is great because she sees things like a movie." And I think that's when they were showing cinematic trailer clips of 1313 type game.
Yeah. So we're gonna get like Star Wars Uncharted.
Yeah, I mean, basically, yes.
That's fine.
It sounds great. I just wish they had announced that.
Yeah, right.
Especially if they had cinematic teaser trailer clips.
What are they going to call it? Star-charted? Unstarted?
Well, it's pretty unstarted right now.
It's pretty unstarted. FIFA 17.
Well,
They talked about this game a lot.
So, correct me if I'm wrong, but so one of the things EA did with their conference, which was, I mean, kind of interesting, but kind of dumb, was that they were actually having two conferences in two separate places. This was EA, right? This wasn't a different one.
Oh god, yeah, this was the stupidest gimmick.
So they had their...
We're broadcasting from London and here. Wow, isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
Bro, how is it in London? It's really London-y over here, bro.
Exactly.
Check out FIFA. It was really stupid.
It was super stupid.
It was the biggest, dumbest gimmick.
And the only reason why, like, because they cut to London to do, like, to be like, oh, how's the crowd over there? And then the crowd cheered, and they were, like, really loud. And I'm like, oh, that crowd sounds pretty pumped up. And then the crowd in, where was it, L.A., like, cheers, and it's, like, significantly quieter. And I'm like, oh, no. That's just embarrassing. But, so they cut to London at the beginning to talk about how they were streaming from London
and LA.
And then they cut back to London later specifically for Sports Ball.
Yes.
And they
specifically for European Sports Ball.
Yeah, and they did not have Pele come out this time.
No, they had some guy.
A young up-and-comer, Alex Hunter.
I think he's actually just the dude who's playing the character in FIFA's new story mode.
He's not actually a soccer player?
I don't think he's actually a soccer player.
I have no idea.
I don't know. Please correct me if I'm wrong, but I think he's just some guy. He's the guy who's voicing and mocapping the character for the thing. Because when you watch the thing, it is that guy.
Yeah.
Like the thing for the story. And I don't think they would do that with an existing soccer star.
That's the other thing that I guess is different and interesting about this year's FIFA, is it seemed like it had a story.
It does. They did this with the last NBA game that came out.
Oh.
Or one of the last ones, where it had a story directed by Spike Lee about you being a basketball man who wants to play basketball, and then you play basketball and you get signed by a professional team, and your awful friend ruins everything for you.
Oh.
It's terrible. I watched a playthrough of it. Like, it's bad. The writing is bad. You don't get to make any choices. You just watch long, boring cutscenes.
Oh.
The mocap is terrible. All the people look like goblins. It's awful. It's so bad. It's, like, embarrassing.
Oh, Spike Lee, why?
Spike Lee messed up. He messed up real bad. He did not do the right thing.
Woof.
Whoa.
So
when I saw this, I was like, oh no.
It's happening again.
Although, this already looked significantly better than that. Just from the quality of, like, the models and the motion capture and stuff.
Yeah, because I was going to say, the mocap didn't look terrible.
No, this looked quite good. So we'll see where that goes. But it looked like the same kind of thing. Of like, oh, here's your story where you play this guy. And he's like, Alex Hunter. A character named Alex Hunter. He must not be a real person.
Okay.
Who is Alex Hunter?
FIFA 17, EA Sports.
Yeah, he's some guy. So they had the actor come out and be like, I'm Alex Hunter. And I'm gonna have you join me for footsie ball. What? I've just insulted our entire UK listener base.
Oh no, why?
Please don't take away your euros from our Patreon.
We appreciate your euros.
I do.
We do.
Or your pounds. Does Britain still use pounds?
I don't know how it works.
Because what's a quid?
What are these things?
What's a quid? If someone's in chat right now, tell me what a quid is. How many quid does FIFA 17 cost? Anyway, so then they talked about Madden.
Yeah, like we expected, and it looked like every other Madden game that's ever come out.
Yep.
No one was excited about that, but they still spent a ton of time on it. Like that.
Yep.
That was the point. The sports ball points of the EA conference. I like kind of fell asleep.
Yeah, I was doing something else at the same time as I was watching those. And they talked about EA Originals, which was probably the most interesting announcement they made.
So this was them giving lip service to indie games, because ever since a few years ago, when indie games started getting popular and they realized they could make real money off of indie games, all of the press conferences have a segment where they do lip service to indie games.
But EA actually did something in this that was remarkably not evil.
Oh, really?
Which is that they said, we are doing a new deal for indie games where we will fund indie developers to make their games for EA with the EA name on them, but all of the profits are going to the indie developer.
Oh.
EA is not taking a cut of the profits of these games.
I mean, you can't see it, but I look very...
You look skeptical.
I look very skeptical.
But, what if they actually do that?
No.
I mean, it's shockingly unevil.
I can't even
believe it.
I can't even imagine that hypothetical situation, even though it's exactly what they said.
Yeah. So
I can't even imagine living in that world, even though that's probably the world we live in.
They announced the first game that's being made under this too, which is a game called Fee, where you play as like a creature.
Is it Fee or Fae?
It's Fee. They said Fee.
Dumb name.
It's not a very good name. It's not a very marketable name.
Not at all.
Which also leads me to believe that maybe EA is telling the truth about that.
But
because they didn't make them change this game to like Fee Zero Dawn or something.
Fee Lost Horizon.
Lost Horizon, Fee Andromeda.
But...
FIFA 17.
You think the soundboard?
The soundboard?
Because the air horn is actually running. Because that's what you hear at sporting events.
That's true.
But no, it's. I was watching that. What did you think of it? Because all I could think of. Yeah.
It looked like Ori and the Blind Forest.
Exactly. I was like, oh, it's Ori and the Blind Forest. They're just making that again.
Ori and the Blind Forest mixed with Spore.
Mm.
Gameplay-wise, because it looks like you walk around and do weird calls at other creatures and stuff.
Yeah, they kept saying, like, oh, you're going to do calls to other creatures. And then I think that they showed gameplay. Like, I'm pretty sure when they were talking about it, and I was like, I know you're showing gameplay, but I don't understand what's going on.
The whole point of the game, they said, was that you're dropped into that world as that little creature, and you need to figure out how everything works.
Yeah.
You figure out how everything interacts with each other. So it's like an ecosystem, and you need to find your place in it.
Yeah.
Which is interesting. But it's it is what it is. It's a little indie darling game. That you look at and you're like, oh. And maybe you play it, maybe you don't.
Yeah. But that was basically all the stuff from EA. Was there anything that you wanted to mention besides that?
Decent press conference. A lot of things in it that I don't care about personally, but it wasn't a bad show.
I mean, I think that it was... After seeing all the other ones, it was probably the most forgettable for me.
Yeah, it was not particularly memorable. They also didn't show any of their more interesting stuff. Like, they have, like, Mirror's Edge Catalyst, which I know came out, but they still could have shown something for it. Because
they could have DLC different. For it. They love that.
They love it. They can't get enough. So, why don't we move on to Bethesda? which was on the 12th also at 6 p.m.
Let me tell you something.
Pacific time.
Bethesda tricked me, and I was very upset.
Oh, I thought they tricked you.
Because there were all these posts on Twitter from Adam Sessler, and he was like, me and Morgan Webb were hosting the Bethesda conference, and I got real excited.
Yeah.
But then I actually went to watch it, and I'm like, oh, they're hosting the pre-show and the post-show. They're not actually hosting the conference.
The CES.
So
CES and the web.
Yeah.
You have like so much more charisma than everybody else hosting any of these things. It's staggering.
Let me point something out though. I watched that and I was like, yeah, like especially compared to EA, which we had just watched before that, I was like, oh, significantly better, fantastic. Yeah. Then later I watched PC Game Show, and we're gonna get into it next time.
So PC Game Show,
oh my gosh,
I did not pay a ton of attention to.
Oh, I loved it.
Okay,
I was so into it.
Okay, it's not as boring as it's
in terms of hosting. It was 10 out of 10.
Okay,
but
we'll get to that then.
We'll get to it. But
you were clearly paying more attention to it than me.
Oh my gosh! So, but this one, so Adam Sessler and Morgan Webb host the pre-show where they talk about the different things that we're going to see. They tease us. They talk about how Morgan Webb got a bit into the beta, or maybe the alpha. I think it's a beta of their card game, their Elder Scrolls Legends card game, and she's like, "Oh, I'm playing it. It's real good." And I'm like, "That's not true, Morgan Webb. You're getting paid to say that."
Paid to say that. Where's your money bag?
Yeah.
Where are you hiding it?
So they talked about that, and then
but their card game has a story mode. That they showed a super boring trailer for.
Actually, here's the thing. I didn't even dislike that trailer, but what I disliked was the fact that I'm like, there's no way that you can make a story mode for a card game.
I didn't even like the trailer.
It's not going to work.
It bored the crap out of me. And yeah, it's not a very good idea.
Bald Wizard Man said some interesting things, and I'm like, that's not that story
it's going to be you playing card games with a cutscene in between.
Yeah.
That's what it'll be.
That's not really a story mode. You might as well just play the card games.
Yeah. But to get more story, you need to win the card game.
So...
Anyway.
What else did they talk about?
Bethesda. Dishonored 2.
We saw a lot of Dishonored 2.
A lot of Dishonored 2?
Like, so much of it.
And at first I thought they weren't going to show anything, because the first thing they showed for it, right at the beginning of the conference, was last year's trailer for Dishonored 2.
Yeah, that's what I thought too.
Are they, like, for real? You're just showing last year's trailer?
Although, to be fair...
I think they were stalling for time.
Maybe. To be fair, after we had seen the EA thing, I was like... Oh, just more trailers instead of showing us gameplay.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah.
But then, no, they showed a ton of gameplay. They not only did they show gameplay, they showed multiple different levels of gameplay.
You and me were texting back and forth, and they showed, like, this is the engine that we're running Dishonored 2 in that we built for it. It's really great. Look at all this lighting. Look at all these physics. It's awesome. The NPCs are walking around. And I was like, so this is the game. We're not going to see any actual real gameplay. It was what I said to you. And then they started showing a ton of real gameplay, and you were just like, oh, you spoke too soon.
You spoke too soon.
And I was like, oh, no.
That's the weird thing. I have
no faith.
Actually, an argument for why Bethesda's conference was weak in terms of how it was structured. Because, like, if you've got that, there's some cool gameplay. If you've got that cool gameplay, you start with that.
They paced the Dishonored stuff terribly.
It was weird.
Last year's trailer, who cares?
Yeah.
A bunch of stuff showing the engine being pretty, whatever.
I mean, it's more interesting than the trailer we've already seen.
Showed, like, successively more interesting gameplay.
Yeah, the last bit of gameplay was the thing where you're looking into those mirrors.
Which was really cool.
It was so cool. Like, why did you lead with that?
That's a wicked cool mechanic.
Okay, so what happened with gameplay was the first gameplay you see. Was it?
It was like
that mission where they're running around to the Dust District.
Yeah.
Yeah, so running around in a dust area and, like, fighting some guys.
So, like, fight some guards, how some of the stealth works, how a few of the powers work.
Yeah, then...
Like, and it's what you would expect. It was very nice looking.
Yeah, and then they show a puzzle, and then they showed how, like, the environment affects what you're doing, and I'm like, oh, the more I see of this, the more mechanics I'm seeing at work, and the more interested I become.
Yeah.
And then the next thing they show is they're like, oh, and let me show you this other special mission where you can't use your magic powers. And I'm like, oh... What does that mean? It's not interesting? I don't understand. Like, but instead of your magic powers, you have this item that when you look through it, you see the past of the area that you're in,
and then you can go there.
And then you can go there and affect it.
You can also go back.
Yeah.
Like, what? what?
It's crazy.
Like, you're in a hallway where there's no guard, and you look into the past and there's a guard, and you jump into the past and you kill the guard, and then you jump back into the present, but you can look into the past at the dead guard, and the other guard in the past goes up and finds him and is like, what's going on?
Yeah, because you're effectively not there anymore, so the other guard can't catch you.
That's so broken. Like, how are they going to work that into gameplay?
Well, it's because it's just that level.
It's only that one.
Because that's what they were saying.
Oh, I missed that.
It's
just
it's
be a consistent gameplay.
It was a special mechanic for that level.
It's still really cool.
It's super cool.
I would hope it'd be more than one part of
I mean, it might show up in some other levels. It might be like a game mechanic that echoes throughout the game.
You kind of have to design a level around that mechanic.
Yeah.
Because it's so affecting. But yeah.
It was so cool.
Dishonored 2 looked pretty good.
Yeah.
And I bag on the first game a lot. Because I think the first game was good in concept, poor in execution in a lot of ways. So, like, I'm not going to wish ill on them for this game. Like, I hope that they clean it up and this game is executed as well as it looks like it deserves to be.
Yeah, totally.
Like, I want it to be good, but I'm not counting my blessings yet. I'm not saying like, oh, it's so good, I can't wait to buy it. I'm gonna give it a little distance.
Yeah.
But what they showed was strong, and they showed a lot of it. So, cool.
Good job, Bethesda.
Good job.
You did it.
The next thing we're going to talk about was my favorite thing.
Oh my god, it looked so cool. It was just
that trailer was great.
There was some gameplay in there, wasn't there?
It's unclear.
Okay.
It's unclear if any of that was gameplay or it was just made to kind of look like gameplay. But regardless...
So they didn't say what it was, so you have to watch the whole trailer...
Before you get a title.
Yeah.
And the whole time I was watching the trailer, I was like, this looks super cool. This looks wicked cool. Give me a title, Bethesda. Give me a title that doesn't suck. Don't give me Horizon Zero Dawn. Don't give me Advent Awakening or something like that. Give me a good title.
Halo 6.
Halo 6. And then the title was Prey.
Yeah.
Because this is the new Prey game.
And it's not a sequel.
No.
Because it doesn't seem to have the same characters in the same place. It's sort of a reboot.
It's like a retread. Because similar in concept. Because you didn't play Prey.
No.
Right? So Prey, the first one, you're a guy who gets abducted by aliens, and you end up on this ship, and you're trying to save these other people who are abducted with you. So it has this kind of horror thing to it, where you're in a strange place, dealing with strange things with difficulty.
Yeah.
And it's pretty messed up and kind of horror-y, but was a shooter for the most part. So this looks generally similar to that. You're on a space station. There's weird stuff going on.
Yeah, all these aliens have, like, taken over.
Yeah, this spooky, like, black alien creatures have taken over.
Also, you seem to be being experimented on.
Yes. Really interesting. The whole trailer opens with, like, a Groundhog Day sort of scenario, where he keeps looking at his eye in the mirror and it's getting more and more bloodshot. And then that ends, and things get all weird, and at the very end he's looking in a mirror, and then him in the mirror sits down and is like, yo, dog, you're not gonna like what I gotta tell you next. And I was like, oh, it's so good!
It was really cool. I strongly recommend watching that trailer. It was super cool.
If that game can live up to that trailer, I think it's gonna be totally fantastic.
Oh, yeah.
Because if it has a story, if it has, like, an actual really good story combined with, like, sci-fi survival horror elements that it looks like they're going for, that'll be a real fun game.
Now, the Bethesda conference did not really have anything new. The Prey thing, I think, is the closest we get to an announcement, because we knew there was going to be a Prey 2. There was, like, rumors about that.
Now I'm trying to remember if there already was a Prey 2 and if this is actually the third one.
I think it was supposed to be like the second one.
Prey 2 was canceled.
Oh, okay.
They showed a bunch of stuff for Prey 2 that was very different from this, where you're like a space bounty hunter, but it was canceled. So that was turned into this.
Okay.
Which I think is great because this looks way more interesting than that.
Oh yeah, totally. I mean, not that space bounty hunters aren't cool, but we have a million games with them.
Yeah, and this looks like a bit more of an intriguing thriller kind of thing. But, so yeah, that was mostly the newest thing. There's stuff for Fallout 4. They announced more DLC for it, as well as some updates to Fallout Shelter.
Because Fallout Shelter made them a bucket of money.
Yeah, so we're getting like a new version of Fallout Shelter with tons of additional content.
Yeah.
Like going on missions and stuff like that. And an overhaul of like the combat system for it and things. So that looks cool.
Oh, the Fallout 4 VR. They're doing Fallout 4 VR stuff.
Yeah, they are. Which is an interesting idea.
It might be good, I guess. I don't know.
You can wander around in the wasteland in VR now.
I'm not excited for other games being ported to VR. I'm excited for VR games to be made.
Which we've still seen very little of.
Yeah.
As far as things that are really interesting. Quake Champions.
Okay, so...
Yeah, you start, because believe me, I have some stuff to say.
So for those who don't know, back in the day, around the year 2000, I want to say, early 2000s.
Maybe a little before that.
Maybe a little before that.
Oh, yeah.
There were these games that were taking the world by storm called arena shooters.
Oh, yeah.
And the big one was...
1996.
Oh, whoa, that's way earlier. Okay, so...
by John Romero.
Yeah, the big one was Unreal Tournament.
Yes.
And then there were games like Quake. Quake, which, as you were telling me, has single player, because I actually have never played Quake.
Yeah.
But there was a lot of multiplayer stuff going on with it.
Single players like Doom.
Yeah.
I mean, because Doom kind of started that stuff, too, because Doom had multiplayer.
Yeah.
When it came out, that started it, and then all these other games started being made.
So all these fast-paced arena shooters.
Yeah.
And now, in this current day and age, Overwatch rules over all multiplayer games.
Which I would argue, and Overwatch has kind of elements of an arena shooter.
Because it's not really an arena shooter, but I think that a lot of people are looking at it in the game industry and saying, like, I mean, it's kind of like one, so what if
it's kind of filled the niche.
Yeah.
Temporarily right now.
So what if we revive arena shooter properties from the 90s?
Yeah, and I mean, Doom did great.
And Doom did really well. So Bethesda's next idea is, well, we own id Software, so why don't we have them revive Quake?
Yep.
And
neat idea. Let's talk about where they went wrong.
Yeah. I mean, for one thing, we just saw a cinematic trailer, as I recall.
Yeah. It was all cinematic, showing off all these characters, all these heroes, if you will. Maybe champions would be the right word for them. Quake Champions. Wow, what a title. So this game, to bring up Overwatch once again, is like a hero-based shooting game. All like League of Legends and stuff, where you're playing shooter, but you're picking these preset characters.
Yeah.
And as they said in the conference, all your favorite characters from Quake. Like, no one.
Yeah, because nobody knows who the characters from Quake are, because nobody's played that game in a decade.
There's no characters. It's Quakeman. You play as Quakeman, and he walks around and he kills monsters.
Oh, were there, like, no other
characters?
Well.
It's like Doom. There's no character in Doom. There's, like, Doom Guy, and I guess, like, the Cyber Demon?
Cyber Demon's my favorite character.
My favorite character in Doom is Archvile.
What about
Mancubus?
What about Floating Head Demon?
Cacodemon?
Yeah.
Those are pretty cool. But that's the point. The way they talked about it at the conference was like, hey, remember all your favorite Quake characters?
No.
They're back!
No one remembers them.
And they show the trailer and all these people are like, who is that? Who are these people? These aren't Quake people. These are no one. You just made a lady with blue hair. Gotta get all that waifu money from Overwatch.
Mm-hmm. That's true. No, but another thing about this game that sounds like a step backwards rather than a step forward is with those arena shooters.
Yes.
The character design was like the precursor to like the Gears of War character design.
Yeah.
Whereas
big,
like
bulky like armor guy.
Yeah.
With a gun.
Yeah. Pretty much.
More
And
or less.
it feels like, especially with games like Overwatch, that we have finally left that behind. Like, there are still bulky armor guy with guns, but there can be other characters too, and it's varied and interesting. And
bulky armor guy with gun in Overwatch is a Russian bodybuilder woman.
It's true.
And she's great.
We actually, modern games have shown us that we can have a variety of character design.
Yes.
And people will like that.
But they do have a variety of character design. They have surly white man, surly black man, sexy lady, and alien monster.
Surly alien monster.
Surly alien monster.
Yeah, the alien monster's
They'll also probably have sexy alien monster.
Oh, definitely. Mm-hmm. With green hair.
Kerrigan.
So I saw that and I was like, oh great, I love how we're just stepping backward in our character design. Yeah.
And that's the thing, you show me that and you say, like, remember all these great Quake characters? And I say no. And then you show me all these great quote-unquote Quake characters and I'm like, these characters suck.
They all look the same.
So uninteresting.
Yeah.
Because Because look at Overwatch. Put a gorilla in there.
Just throw a gorilla in there. You could throw a gorilla with power armor.
In there.
You could throw a gorilla with power armor into Quake and it would make sense, and they weren't even smart enough to do that.
Yeah, it's totally fine. Just do it.
It'd be great.
Just do it.
What if it was like a dinosaur man with power armor?
Quake that sounds awesome!
And Quake didn't even think to do that.
We might be stepping on Turok's toes, though.
Oh, that's true.
Where's our Turok reboot?
Turok was rebooted.
It needs to be rebooted again.
That's probably true.
That reboot wasn't good enough.
Do it again.
We need a masterpiece of a Turok.
So Quake Champions basically like one of the least interesting things I saw at E3.
I could not possibly care less. I'm just going to keep playing Overwatch.
I keep thinking of stuff from the PC game show, but there's something that relates to this as well in the PC game show.
We'll get to it.
Yeah.
We'll get to it.
But
Elder Scrolls, they announced the remaster of Skyrim.
This was funny because it was kind of like how in EA's conference they were like, look at all the Star Wars stuff we're doing, and this they were like, look at all the Elder Scrolls stuff we're doing. So there was nothing new, but it was all like, we're making it.
Skyrim Remastered struck me as like, we don't have a new Elder Scrolls game to show you, but we made Skyrim real pretty.
That was the dumbest thing. It was...
I mean, they made it look real pretty.
Yeah, but it already looks that pretty because that's what everyone in the mod community has already done. It's just wasting time.
Yeah,
they wasted their own time doing this.
Yep.
Maybe they downloaded the mods that made it prettier and then like altered them slightly.
Oh, that'd be so heinous.
It would be heinous.
That's just like Nintendo selling a ROM off of a ROM website, which they totally did.
Yeah, they did. Oh, no. But no, that was a waste of time. I can't believe people are excited about that. Oh, actually, wait, no. I can think of one way that people would be excited about that, and that is the people who are on console can get that and now get the prettier console version. I can see how that's cool.
If you already own the game and all of the DLC, it's free.
Yes, that was nice.
So that's a thing. If you really love Skyrim, then you already own all that stuff, so you get this for free.
Yeah. But overall, like as part of the PC Master Race, the Skyrim remaster is a complete waste of time.
They did the Elder Scrolls Legends campaign trailer, like we said, and
we slept through it because no one cares. They did talk about how Elder Scrolls Legends is different from Hearthstone. Instead of one generic battle map, you have a 2-lane battle map, and instead of just taking damage, when you take a certain amount of damage, you get to draw a card. So I'm like, okay, so it sounds like a variant play version of Hearthstone.
It is what it is.
Yeah. But it's still just Hearthstone. They didn't actually change it in a significant enough way. No. They just like added 2 mechanics.
Yeah.
Still Hearthstone though.
No, it's fine.
So what else did they talk about? Anything else for Elder Scrolls related things?
Not particularly.
Oh, Elder Scrolls Online. Actually, that was a big deal.
Yeah, you liked the sound of that.
So they talked about how they're like, oh, we're doing a big update where we're doing the Assassin's Guild in Elder Scrolls Online. And I'm like, oh, that's cool. And they had like a cool trailer for it, and I thought that looked nice. But then they made an announcement that I think for a lot of people who don't play Elder Scrolls Online wouldn't have cared about as much.
Yeah.
But for as someone who's played it, this announcement was a huge deal, and they announced that they were taking level caps level restrictions off of areas in the world. Mm-hmm. So the way Elder Scrolls Online works right now is that you're in a section of the world, and it basically like you can't leave that section unless you're a certain level, or you can go to other sections, but they're like, oh, you need to be this level to play in this section. And if you try and play it when you're below that level, you'll just immediately die. And it won't be fun. So what they're saying is like, okay, now there's level scaling. So you can go any place in the world whenever. You can just run from one side of the continent to the other. And it doesn't matter if there's... Because the other thing in Elder Scrolls is there's territories. There's like the elves have their own place, and the Daggerfall Covenant has its own place, and blah blah blah. And those were sectioned off, so it was hard if you were part of one like league or guild or whatever. Like you couldn't go to the other one's area. Right. But now apparently you can. So you can just run from one side of the continent to the other. It's all good.
Right.
Fighting all the monsters. And I was like, oh my god, that game is going to open up in such a significant way when that happens.
Yeah, that's weird. It strikes me as odd, though, to introduce level scaling to an MMO.
Yeah, and I worry that it has the potential of completely breaking the way the game makes, because the game wasn't made to be played like that.
No. It's weird.
But assuming they implement it properly, it could make that game significantly more fun. Like one of the reasons why I'm not playing that game, like why I stopped, is because I got to a point where it was really hard to level in the zone I was in without joining a party. Like, it was hard to solo level, and because I couldn't get to the level I needed to go to the next zone, I was just stuck in this place.
Right. And that stinks.
And it's not fun. And that was why I put the game down.
Yeah.
But if they implement this patch, I will totally pick it back up again, because it will solve that problem. So I got very excited when I heard that one bit of news.
The only other stuff they talked about was the Unto the Evil DLC for Doom, as well as free updates for like the map making and multiplayer functions of that.
Oh yeah, game. They're gonna have the full-fledged level editor with a snap map thing, so you can put stuff together. That
and
looks
they
like
said they're updating the multiplayer as well. Like making it, and that's going to come out for free in the next few months.
So I am actually I already wanted to play Doom real bad, even though my computer can't run it.
Yeah.
But now I want to play it real bad, because I love level editors, and I really want to make my own levels in Doom.
Like it's going to be a good one.
Yeah.
So, Fallout 4 and Doom VR.
So I forgot there was Doom.
Is a cool game for VR.
I totally want Doom VR. That sounds awesome. Great.
And they teased a new Wolfenstein game, because during their little boot sequence for where they showed the names of all the games and stuff, after Wolfenstein the Old Blood was something that said New Colossus with no date, and that's a part of the poem that's on the Statue of Liberty, which the main character in Wolfenstein the New Order says at the end of the game.
Oh, I didn't even catch that.
Pretty subtle.
I did catch that they did a DOS sequence.
Which was cool.
I love that. That was great.
For their trailers, yeah. But, because I just beat Wolfenstein, so I actually remember this part. It's right at the end. In the last cutscene, the main character, says that little poem that's on the Statue of Liberty. So, maybe there's more Wolfenstein coming? I know New Order and its DLCs did pretty well for them.
Ooh.
So.
Can we talk briefly about the Bethesda post-game show?
Very briefly.
Adam Sessler, Morgan Webb are like, hey, welcome to the post-game show. And they did some interviews with some people, and they had some mic problems, and that was kind of amusing. But then they were like, well, get ready, because later on, Blink-182 is going to play their new album. Apparently,
I forgot about Blink-182.
Apparently, they were the post-game was like a party that people could show up to, and there was food and drinks.
During the stage show, the guy was like, we're going to have Blink-182. And I was like, what?
Because Blink-182, for those who don't know, Blink-182 was a 90s pop-punk band who haven't been...
Adam's song.
Yeah, who haven't been relevant for, the last decade.
I can't remember the last time I've heard someone mention Blink-182.
And they just put out a new album, and it's supposed to be atrocious. Really bad. Because I heard the single from it, and it was terrible.
Oh, no.
But, they shouldn't still be making music. Their time has passed. They just retire. It's fine.
They're too old to be cool, hip punk guys.
Well, exactly. So during the post-game show, Adam Sessler and Morgan Webb interviewed Blink-182.
Oh my god.
And it was a really short interview, but it was the most surreal thing I'd ever watched, because I was like, I never imagined I would watch Adam Sessler and Morgan Webb interview Blink-182 at E3.
At E3?
It was truly bizarre. And Blink-182 were clearly sometimes we play video games. We don't really know anything about video games. We're just here to play our songs. And they all looked really frumpy and old, and it was real weird.
That's upsetting.
So, except Travis Barker, he's aged great. He's the drummer, and also by far the most talented member of Blink-182. And he looks great.
Well, good for Travis.
He should just start a supergroup with somebody else. That's what he should be doing right now.
Dave Grohl.
Yes, he should. Oh my god.
Dave Grohl's all about supergroups.
He is.
He does it all day.
It's amazing.
What a cool guy.
Such a cool guy.
So what did Microsoft talk about? We actually don't have a whole lot of time to cover Microsoft.
It's fine. It wasn't that interesting.
They announced the Xbox One Slim.
Then they announced... So the Xbox One Slim 40% smaller than the Xbox One, but otherwise exactly the same.
Yes.
They also announced the Xbox One Scorpio.
Is it actually called Scorpio?
Yes.
Or are they still,
Didn't you notice that in the? Yeah,
well, they say it announces Project Scorpio console.
Yeah, but it said Scorpio all over the place.
Better be called the Scorpio.
It's gotta be.
That's so cool.
They wouldn't put that name up everywhere if it wasn't.
Got 4K gaming and 6 teraflops.
That's crazy.
I don't even handle all that teraflopping.
I don't even understand what that means.
I don't know what that means either, but it sounds good. Teraflop.
It sounds amazing. But no, so did they say when the Scorpio was coming out?
I do not believe they did. It'll be next year sometime.
Yeah, I think that one of the reasons why they did the Slim and why they talked about it now instead of just announcing it before E3, because it's not like really a big announcement, was because they could give a release date for it.
Yeah.
So that then when they talked about how they didn't know when the Scorpio was going to come out, it wouldn't be as big a deal. Ooh.
Right. Freaking GameSpot keeps playing videos automatically on me.
Oh, GameSpot.
They showed off Gears of War 4.
Oh, they did, yes.
Sure.
There were... Oh, the Gears of War 4 thing, I was watching it, and it would have been really, really cool if any of the sequences in the levels that they showed off, because they showed off gameplay, they showed off playing through a level, if any of the things that happened in those levels weren't clearly scripted.
Yes.
Because there's a point where, like, lightning hits, and then it, like, keeps hitting, and all this, like, ball lightning things, like go across the screen, and you have to, like, work your way through the battlefield without them hitting you, or they'll blow you up.
Yeah.
And I'm like, if that lightning storm was dynamically generated, and you didn't know where the lightning was going to hit, that would be so cool. But because I know this is scripted, it's not cool at all.
It's just like, okay, cool, you can show off a bunch of stuff.
It's just a level gimmick.
And other than that, I mean, it looks like Gears of War. It's like exactly what you'd expect.
Yeah.
It's a cover shooter where you can kill people with a chainsaw.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're into that, cool. Sea of Thieves, they showed off some more gameplay for. I think this looks really fun.
I think it looks great.
I think it looks really, really cool.
I was live tweeting this one and one of the other press, the PC Gamer conference as well, from our Twitter. And I tweeted at the Sea of Thieves guys, and I was just like, you guys, this looks great.
Yeah.
This looks so good. It's like teamwork is actually relevant. And
I love that.
And then they tweeted me back, and they were like, teamwork be an important part in our development cycle. And I was like, oh man.
That dev team's a treasure.
They are. Oh my god. A buried treasure.
Oh! So, that game looked very cool, because all the gameplay they showed off was exactly that. This is not a single-player game. This is not even like a 2 or 3 player game. This is a massively multiplayer game.
Yes.
Where you, on your pirate ship, it's not like there's tons of pirate ships with one person on them. You need a full crew to function. Because you need people to raise the anchor, and the more people you have like cranking the anchor, the faster it goes up. You need people to lower your sails and adjust them. You need people to load and fire the cannons. You need someone steering.
You need somebody the crow's nest, because when you're steering, you can't see what's in front of you.
What's in front of you, like you actually can't. And that looks great.
It looks so
That's
good.
so much fun. Get a bunch of your friends and just be pirates.
And then in the gameplay, because what they did for the gameplay, which was also genius, is they took a bunch of people
and just put them in
and just were like, hey, play this game for us and we'll film it. And the people were like, oh, okay. And the people immediately
just goofed
around, but then figured out what was going on and played, which was amazing.
And then they saw another ship.
And then fought it.
And they fought each other, and it was great. Like, some people had to go below deck to patch holes that the cannons had blown in the boat and everything, so it wouldn't sink. It was really cool.
And then another group of people were just like, get on a ship, screw that, let's drink. And then they just drank a bunch of ale, got real drunk.
It looks terrific, and like a really fun pirate game. I'm excited.
I saw an interview about it. It was a super, the Node did an interview with the one of the devs, and it was super annoying because there were so many things he couldn't talk about. There are going to be Krakens. Krakens are confirmed.
Oh.
And lots of other monsters, and there may be some NPCs in there, who you can fight and stuff like that, but primarily it's you dealing with other players.
And everything.
But a lot of the things in the interview that they did with him were they were taking questions from Twitter, and they kept being like, oh, is the game going to have the ability to take people prisoner? Or or like things like that.
How far does this go?
Yeah, and he kept being like, "Oh, those sound like cool ideas. I can't say anything." And the way he talked about it didn't make it sound like he couldn't reveal information. It made it sound like the game was that unfinished. Like the stuff,
it's still so early.
yeah, like the stuff that they showed was literally the only thing you can do in the game right now because they haven't built anything else. And that's annoying to me only because this game was not announced at this E3. It was announced last E3.
Right.
So it makes me think this game is a ways off.
Final thought about it, though. Man, that water looks good.
Oh my god, the water looks incredible.
Looks so good.
The art style overall, for those who haven't seen it, and I highly recommend you check it out.
It looks very nice.
It's nice. It's more cartoony. It's not super realistic, but man, that water is beautiful.
It looks gorgeous.
Every time of day.
Every time of day, yeah, it looks so good. They showed more of Scalebound.
They showed Scalebound and they showed Final Fantasy 15.
Yes.
And they showed, and I want to talk about those in union because they showed gameplay for both of them.
Yeah.
And conceptually, they basically showed the same scene.
Yes.
And
boss.
And yet, Final Fantasy 15 looked like horrible garbage, and Scalebound looked incredible.
It looked really good.
Yeah.
Well, FF15's demo was all janked up. They messed it up.
Yeah.
Like, they messed up the demo and broke it and had to, like, fix it. Like, with, like, dev tools. Like...
So what happened in Final Fantasy 15 is you see the Final Fantasy men, the emo Final Fantasy men running around fighting
the fantasy men.
Yes. Fighting a Titan.
Yes. Which, graphically, gorgeous.
Yes.
Looked fantastic. Very visually impressive.
But the whole way the gameplay worked was the Titan would just sweep his arm across the battlefield, and you'd think that in response to that, the player character would be, like, thrown around, but instead he just would, like, go into a roll whenever it happened,
and it take some damage.
But it didn't even seem like he took very much damage, and I'm like...
no visceral feel to it.
Yeah, I'm like, shouldn't there be, like, a physics engine in here where you get thrown across the map because you're being hit with a Titan hand?
Yeah.
So that looked weird. Whenever he was hit with the Titan hand, like, the camera went crazy.
Yeah.
The camera was going all over the place because there was, like, this horrible sense of scale.
Your hits on the enemy also have no, like, satisfying feedback to them.
No, not at all.
You're just kind of going like dink, donk.
There were points where I was like, is he hitting him? Is he dealing damage? I can't really tell. And because the Titan was so much bigger than your character, like, he was too big.
It muddles up the scene.
Yeah.
The framing of the scene.
You kept having to zoom way out to, like, see what was going on.
Like, isn't it cool you're fighting such a huge thing? Yeah, I wish I could actually see the fight in a way that it's interesting to look at.
Yeah, like, I really wish you were fighting something smaller in that gameplay. Also, the guy who was playing it didn't seem like he was actually very good at the sequence.
And that's why he screwed it up.
Yeah.
Like, the whole thing got all messed up. And they had to advance the sequence to actually get it to, like, work. Which is one of the pitfalls of doing a live demo. And not making sure that the person who's playing a live demo can play the game. And
then they get to the end, and you find out that, like, the entire time, I guess your teammates were, like, trying to set up something for you to, like, freeze its arm.
Yeah.
But that wasn't clear throughout any of the demo.
Yeah, it was...
And then once its arm is frozen, he hits it and the arm explodes, and it's like, oh, you won! And I was just like, what happened?
Okay, sure.
What's going on?
Yeah.
So that was what they showed earlier on. And it made me be like, Final Fantasy 15, I already wasn't excited. Now I'm even less excited.
Yeah.
Like, now your game looks like it plays like jank.
Whereas Scalebound
Scalebound's
also showed a giant boss fight where they revealed that this game apparently is going to have co-op.
Yes.
Of some kind, which is great.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone who's doing the co-op has their own big dragon monster.
You interact. The dragon monster goes out, fights on its own, but then you can call it over and jump on its back
and do all these combos.
And that all seemed like it played really seamlessly.
And you have your, like, dragon armor mode to power up when the enemy's weak spot is exposed, and it looked like slowly just chipping away at this giant monster,
giant enemy crab,
and dealing with it piece by piece before you finally finish it off and get that super cool shot of all four of you jumping in for the finishing blow at once.
And it was, like, clearly a multi-tiered boss fight.
Yes.
And each tier felt different and interesting, and, like, there was a different goal.
Good design philosophy. They know how to design a good boss fight.
It looked great.
Yeah,
like,
it looked
so
terrific.
good.
In last year, I was thoroughly unimpressed by the Scalebound footage.
Yeah.
I love Platinum games. I love that style of action game. They showed gameplay footage, and I was like...
The only thing...
This looked so much better.
The only thing about Scalebound that was not as exciting for me is it seemed derivative of Monster Hunter.
A bit.
But I mean, it
depends on how much of a story there is surrounding this stuff,
and like what the stuff outside of boss battles looks like,
right?
And also how the sort of mount dragon integration thing, how that changes up.
I think it's got enough differences that it won't feel like a knockoff.
But it was so funny to see that because it was like...
It came off as so competent compared to the FF15 stuff.
Because they showed it at the same press conference.
Yeah.
And it was just like it was almost like they just did it to show up FF15.
So we're like almost out of time. Right now.
So, what else did we see at...
We saw a little bit of Recore, which looked fine.
Yes.
But to me, I found it's a $40 game, which actually made me a little more forgiving of the gameplay they showed, because I thought the gameplay they showed looked kind of rough.
Yeah.
It didn't look that great, like that polished. And maybe it'll be a fun game, but I'm probably not going to get to play it because it's an Xbox One exclusive.
Yeah.
Although it's on PC as well, but... they showed Dead Rising 4... like a trailer.
Whatever.
Frank West is coming back as the main character.
You could make vehicles and like custom make things. That could be interesting, but we don't really know how that system works, so I'm hesitant.
They showed Forza Horizon 3. Guess what? You race cars.
Yep.
They showed Halo Wars 2, the game no one asked for.
No one asked for. The cinematic trailer for that game was super
really good.
cool.
Yeah.
But that doesn't tell me that the
gameplay, and you're like, okay, yeah.
Yeah, it looks like Halo Wars 1, which wasn't interesting.
They showed the Gwent card game off of The Witcher.
Oh my god, that's another thing where I'm like, I understand that fans wanted you to make that, and I'm sure it's fun, but you're just doing that because of Hearthstone. Like, it's obvious.
They did some nice work on it, though. Like, some of the animations the cards do and stuff are very nice.
It looks nice.
But yeah, they're just doing it because Hearthstone's big.
They're doing a Division update. It's okay.
Yep.
Sure. Tekken 7. I'm not a Tekken person.
I don't like Tekken for fighting games.
Yeah.
I've never been a fan. So
rather play Street Fighter.
Street Fighter I like more. I like Guilty Gear because I like anime weeaboo stuff.
Yeah,
so
you do.
I'm a Guilty Gear man. So and then they introduced a Killer Instinct character, Gears of War's General Rom. What a cool character. Nobody likes that character. Why did they put him in here?
Yeah, nobody.
He's so uninteresting.
Oh yeah, Killer Instinct's so unexciting. I remember seeing that and I was like, no,
the worst possible character they could add to that game.
No one cares. Please.
Put more Battletoads in it.
Yeah.
Put Crash Bandicoot in it. And Microsoft has their new design your own Xbox One controller thing.
I honestly thought that already existed.
I thought so too. But whatever, it's neat. So finally, we're going a little bit over, but we got to talk about our vote story this week.
Oh man!
About this backpack that Alienware is building.
So this was part of the PC Game Show, and I saw it.
It's a nice segue. We can end off with this little teaser of next show. We're going to talk about.
So, Alienware, the maker of really dumb-looking gaming laptops.
Excuse you, they're cool looking.
No.
And they're very reasonably priced.
Very reasonably priced. I'm not saying they don't work well.
No.
I'm sure they work great, but they're not reasonably priced and they look dumb. So them in conjunction with AMD, make all those graphics cards, are making a backpack specifically for virtual reality. So the idea here is that you're going to put on the virtual reality headset and it's going to plug into your backpack and then you just wander around like a stupid person.
Yep. Sounds awesome.
Awesome.
I mean, I do like it in the sense of, like, you don't have to have your VR stuff plugged into something else or stay in a certain area. It makes it a little easier to deal with some of these VR titles we've seen.
Yeah.
So it's not a bad idea, but you already look really stupid with a VR headset on.
Now you're going to look real stupid.
Now you're going to look extra stupid.
So here's the thing. I have played on a Vive, which is, I assume, what they're using for this, because the other ones don't have that kind of motion thing. With the Vive, you set up your motion sensors, you got a cube you can walk around in.
Mm-hmm.
And when I played on it, the one thing that super annoyed me was that you have this cord that leads from your head, and then you don't know where it is when you're playing your virtual reality, so you wrap yourself up in it and then you fall over.
Yep.
I mean, I might have fallen over, but I didn't fall over. But I definitely, got tripped up a little bit, so I always had to wander very gingerly because I didn't want to like yank on the court. So with this, it eliminates that. But here's the problem: how are you gonna do power?
It's gonna have a really big battery.
So it's gonna have to have a huge battery, or because like these are high performance computers with a high performance headset. Like you're probably gonna need to be plugged into an outlet. So you're gonna have a cord anyway. This doesn't solve anything.
Yeah. I mean, for now, this does seem to be just an experiment. Like, it says in the article, like, companies are just kind of looking at options right now.
Yeah.
So they're going to test this out and see if it catches on, and see if people like this.
This was definitely the goofiest moment from the PC game show.
Well, yeah, I mean, look at the picture.
Because someone just wandered out on stage with it, and then just wandered around playing a VR game.
Now. My planet needs me. Like, you look like a little space person with a little backpack jetpack.
And then you could see on the projector what they were seeing.
Yeah.
But I almost thought it would have been great if they didn't show that, and it was just a person wandering around on stage.
VR. Look at them go. This could be you.
They're loving it.
There was some VR thing at one of the other conferences that looked wicked goofy. I think it was at Ubisoft. Where they just had like a bunch of people lined up on stage looking around at some VR thing, and they looked like idiots. But anyway, that's it for this week's show. Tune in next week when we're going to talk about the rest of E3.
Quick thing.
Yes.
Dan is going on vacation.
I am going on vacation.
So what's happening is this week's show was live, obviously.
Yes.
Next
week's will be pre-recorded.
Yeah, next week's will be pre-recorded, and the week after that we may or may not broadcast. I may bring in a guest host.
If you want to do that, that's totally cool.
Yeah, I'm not 100% sure, but we will be updating
you. Just fly solo?
Oof, I don't know about that.
I don't know if you can carry it.
We will update you guys on social media about how that's going to work.
Yeah.
But then the week after that, Dan's back.
I will be back.
So worst case scenario, you're getting one pre-recorded week and then maybe 1 week off.
Yeah. I'll come back with stories from Japan.
Glorious Japan.
Glorious Nippon.
So we hope you enjoyed the first half of our E3 2016 coverage.
Yeah.
And check back here next week for the exciting conclusion. Yeah. The next week is the best week because we have Sony. And
Nintendo, actually.
Nintendo,
yes. There's quite a bit to say about their big ol' announcement.
Yes.
Or their big ol' showing.
So get excited for next week. It's going to be great. Check us out on social media. You can find us on Twitter. You can find us on Facebook. You can find us on Steam. You can find us on iTunes. You can find us on YouTube. We got show archives on YouTube, on iTunes, and on the chipbit.net site. Also, we have a Patreon, so if you would like to donate to us, we would super appreciate it. There are all sorts of different tiers. You can donate as little or as much as you want. All sorts of cool things you can get. And if you want to listen to us live, check back here, chipbit.net, on Fridays, 7 p.m. to 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. With that all said, remember, don't copy that floppy.